Well, hey, y'all. How's your mama and them? Well, here in Opelika, Alabama, it has been raining off and on for the past 2 days, and we are supposed to continue to get rain 3 or 4 more days, off and on and off and on. The gardening chores don't end when it's raining. So I still have to get out here. I don't mind working in the rain, but I can't film in the rain. So while it is not raining for a few hours, hopefully, I am going to update you on just some basic things that I'm doing to take care of our landscape beds and our vegetable garden. One of the first things in a fruit tree guild, it's a circle, is that you want to make a ring of grass suppressing plants at the drip line of what will be the mature diameter of the fruit tree. This is a dwarf peach tree, and it's only going to get about 12-foot diameter, so that's what the diameter of this circle is. These are daffodil bulbs, and of course they've long been since bloomed, and they're falling over and bent over. You usually want to wait until they're browned out, because this green growth is what's going to give them their full energy for next season's bloom time. But a lot of them are yellowing now, so I'm just going to go ahead and do what I need to do, because I need to plant something else in this area. You can use garlic chives. I couldn't find a single garlic chive packet of seeds, and you know they're only good for the year that you buy them. That's true of garlic and onion seeds. But I did find onion chives, a few packages, and so I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of that. Also going to sprinkle it around this center area, because I've got daffodils and I planted a few tulips there too this last spring. So first up, I just need to go around and trim all this off. And pull weeds at the same time. Normally, I'm not always a very symmetrical person, but there's a lot of symmetry going on in these fruit tree guilds. And initially, I planted the ring of daffodils and around about 18 inches from out from the tree itself, and that was kind of the only symmetry that I maintained. Then in the middle, I just kind of planted stuff that were nutrient accumulators or insecticidal type plants. In other words, repel the bad bugs kind of thing. So that did and didn't work. It always kind of bothered me that I had things just kind of here and there. This year, I decided with these lamb's ears, I had planted one lamb's ear in the fruit tree guilds probably about 3 years ago, and they had gotten really large, but there was just one in each tree guild, and we have 6. So what I did this year in early spring is I dug them up and divided them. You're supposed to do that every few years anyway. And I made little clumps, and I made a ring, this is the lamb's ear, around the tree. Did that in every guild. Also, with the yarrow, I had 2 or 3 big batches of yarrow in most of all 6 guilds. I did the same thing with that. And so, right in this area, I did another ring of yarrow. Yarrow is a nutrient accumulator And when it flowers, it also pulls in the pollinators. They love it. But this mutt and the other mutt like to dig. And I cannot tell you how many times I have had to replant the lamb's ear. And in this particular bed, they dug up 2 of them so many times that they died. So I have one down there in that guild beyond me that is a pretty big clump. So I'm gonna go dig a couple of lamb's ear plants and plant them right there, because again, it bugs me. If I have symmetry going on, it needs to be symmetrical. You gonna leave it alone this time? Please? Okie dokie. Too close. Actually, this weather is perfect for planting plants. It's not hot, it's cloudy, and it's gonna rain. So I don't even have to water it in, because it will get plenty. Okay, next step. I think because, Cooper, come on, you gotta get out of the way. Come here. I think because I have so few onion chives, and I've got 6 guilds, I think I'm deciding that I'm just going to sprinkle around the diameter here, circumference of the tree trunk itself, and I'm gonna hold off on the outer edge. And maybe I'll go ahead and see if I can't get a ton of garlic seeds, garlic chive seeds for the outer edge. So you're actually supposed to have these like, I don't know, 6 inches apart and buried 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch. But that ain't happening. In fact, I'm just going to scoop my bark back over the top, and we'll see how it does. There is one more thing, though, that I am going to throw some seeds out, and I'll show you what that is next. In this area between the lamb's ear and the yarrow, and between the yarrow and the outer edge, I'm going to spread what is called a mulch plant, which is buckwheat. And again, I'm not going to worry about trying to bury it in the soil. If it comes up, great. If not, great. That's fine too. I feel sprinkles. So I will work as long as I can, but I gotta put my iPad out of the weather. 3 down, 3 to go. And some of the yarrow is already starting to bloom. And some of my garlic that I planted chives last year, still here. Cooper. Oh my word. Normally, I don't like to take off too many of the squash leaves, but in order to stake this up a little higher, I am removing the leaves that are below the first sets of fruit. I won't do this continuously, but for now, getting it staked up, it's helpful to do that, in my opinion. And I don't have to worry about sterilizing my hands or my cutting instrument each time, because I'm waiting to do it right after he is sprayed for fungus. That's the beauty of doing your pruning at that point in time. So maybe you can tell the squash looks a little bit tidier. That's catnip in there. Oh, there's another. Anything diseased looking, you want to make sure you discard and not in a compost pile. These yellow pears, trying to keep them in bounds. I've shown these before. These are little ag ties. I love them because they're adjustable. This one's cut in half, but very easy to put them on and off, loosen, whatever you need to do with them. Now, anything that you see that is looking diseased, you need to remove. And I see several leaves on this yellow pear that have issues. So it's best to go ahead and remove it. Try to limit the spread of fungus. And that would be true of anything, any problem that you see. Actually, this is broken. I'm going to remove that whole thing, and it was the one that had the majority of the fungal looking leaves on it anyway. Give up a few tomatoes to keep the whole plant. Kind of missed some cucumbers. They're a little on the large side. Tied up some of the limbs of the tomatoes in here. And everything's just loaded with tomatoes. These are starting to turn. Getting a little bit lighter yellow. This row always ends up being a jungle. Striker beans. Ton of flowers. rains are supposed to stop soon, and in a couple of days we'll be spraying for bugs. When you see this kind of damage, white squiggly looking lines, that is a bug. It is a leaf miner. The adults lay their eggs on the leaves, and when they hatch, they burrow into the leaf and start sucking out the juice. And so you see all these little squiggly lines. As I said, we will be spraying for bugs, but not that I have to do it, but I'm going to go ahead and remove these two leaves where I see the leaf miner damage. And this right here, is an example of a cucumber that wasn't fully pollinated. You'll see it just never forms, it rots and dies. And guess what I just saw? They have arrived. You see it? That is a Japanese beetle. And I don't have my soapy water bucket out here. So, I have him. I'm gonna squish him. And a nice little harvest this evening. Squash, beans, cucumbers. I think I've got enough cucumbers for pickle time. When is it okay to use this in the vegetable garden? Well, come along and I will show you. This is a plum tree. See that damage? See that? You know you've got Japanese beetles. There they are, mating. There. So, can't do this one-handed. Here's my bucket of soapy water. I'm gonna raise the bucket up and shake those beetles into a soapy water death. The last product that I'm going to tell you about for dealing with Japanese beetles is not organic, which is why I have hesitated repeatedly to even buy the product and use it. But I'm so tired of all our fruit trees and our roses being devastated by the Japanese beetles. The fruit tree is actually more than the roses. I do have garlic planted below my roses, and that seems to help. And that's another reason why I've planted garlic around the fruit trees in the fruit tree guilds. But it's just not enough to deter them. This product by Bonide is called Tree and Shrub Insect Control. You really need to read the directions on how to use it. You don't want children or pets around it until it has dried. The way you use it is you mix the concentrate in with water and you pour it in the root zone area. As it takes it up from the roots, it goes into the tree, and basically it kills the insects. and there's a variety of insects that it will kill in addition to the Japanese beetles. I'm only going to use this on my fruit trees and roses, ornamental shrubs. You cannot use this in the vegetable garden. Don't do that. Anyway, I'm going to see how this works. You're really supposed to apply it a month or two before you see infestations or see the bugs coming. And I kept hesitating because it's not organic and I don't like using chemical things. But at this point, after battling these bugs for years and years, I'm giving in and I'm going to use it again on my trees and my roses. One other thing about this, it will harm pollinators and bees, so I will not be using it until the end of the evening, and then we'll keep the dogs indoors after that so that it has plenty of time to dry. I hope this video was helpful. Stay tuned. Next up, we're going to be showing you what we're doing with some perennials, planting those, and a few more annuals, like this beautiful Tyrannia. Isn't that gorgeous? And these things thrive in shade. So nice to find something that gives a punch of color for your shade garden. So remember, stay safe, keep looking up, and have a good one, folks.